Hey, my name is Wojtek, I'm 18 years old. I ride my dirt bike for 2 years. I'm from Poland and I train online with the motoacademy.com.
Hello, Albert here. We have another video, AJ versus Jett. This is Indianapolis edition. So this section we're going to talk about the left-hand sand turn into the whoops, right-hand bull turn into the rhythm section. This is a much more technical section in my opinion than last weekend's in Detroit. And what that leads to is a bigger gap, a much bigger gap. So the differences will be a lot more noticeable here. Friendly reminder guys, this obviously is not a video to try to put myself on a pedestal along with Jett. This is a video that's putting Jett on a pedestal as, in my opinion, the fastest 250 rider alive, and describing to you guys all the differences between an average Joe like myself that's out there trying to make my way around a supercross track. So you're going to constantly notice little things, and hopefully with these videos I can kind of analyze and break down what exactly those differences are and why it amounts to 3 or 4 seconds or 5 seconds a lap difference. If you guys want to train with me, go to themotoacademy.com. We have the 2022 World Tour schedule on the website with over 60 different states and countries. I'm going to be all over the place, so check that out. If you don't see a location near you, you can train with Jett Lawrence and myself inside the Moto Academy app. So check that out as well, or in addition to training in person, why not? And then we got all the latest Moto Academy merch that lives on the site as well. We got the Old Spice Moto Academy tee. We got the Moto Academy Wanna Go Fast tee. We got all of the latest two-stroke Stank Dog merch on there. And the cool thing is every dollar you spend on the site earns you an additional entry to win a brand new bike. So you spend $250 signing up for a class, that's 250 entries. You buy a t-shirt, that's 30 easy entries to win the bike. So go check that out at themotoacademy.com. All right, here it is, AJ versus Jett, Indianapolis edition. So I'm up first here. I've been really, I don't know what it is about me lately, if it's the gear with the colorway, or if it's me, or if it's my handlebars. I've noticed my elbows dropping a little bit lately, and it's driving me nuts. It's driving me nuts. So pay attention to that. I'm still having decent upper body stability where my head doesn't fall left or right too bad. Well, it did just there. And my elbows, when I go to twist the throttle, drop a little bit, drives me nuts. So I'm going third gear, I shift up to fourth. You can see me kind of take my time, get set up for the whoops. I'm dropping into them more than I'd like, down to second for that turn, then shift back up to third for this rhythm. A lot of shifting going on in this track, made it pretty difficult to be quite honest. Yeah, elbows dropping, don't like that. I was choosing primarily the outside here. It just was less energy and seemed like it gave me a little more time to get set up for the whoops. This was my best pass, I think, in this video through the whoops. A little bit more commitment coming in. Closing myself off though a bit in that turn. This was a double, triple onto table, trying to lay on both tires at the same time so that way you could get an even drive off of the section. This is a different angle. Getting off the rear brake really early in the sand. That was a pretty good pass through the sand. Getting off the rear brake early, what it does is it allows that bike to turn. Dragging the rear brake stands the motorcycle up, makes it impossible to get turn. Same thing, shift up to third. Ooh, bit of a weird bounce there, trying to scrub the roller going into the corner. That's just a quick movement done with the knees and the hips. Now what Jett's so amazing at, even though that was a mistake, his head doesn't move and he looks so much more squared up than me. It actually just makes me jealous. That's a double upshift. He's going to fifth gear in the whoops, then he's double downshifting, or potentially triple downshifting to second, so he can grunt over that triple in second gear. Which, yeah, it's a lot of work to get 3 downshifts coming out of the whoops, but well worth it with how fast he can. On the gas super early, upper body very stable. Fifth gear, that commitment coming in, look at his bike barely moves. I know it's easier said than done. You watch Christian Craig go through the whoops too, and it's like, he makes it look easy because of the commitment coming in, but I tell you what, it's so scary to commit to hitting the whoops that fast, especially when they're beat up like that. So I go outside here, Jett goes inside. He enters the inside equally as fast as I enter the outside, which is pretty unbelievable. You can see me hesitate coming into the whoops where Jett just does the exact opposite, gets on the throttle. He goes 3 into this rhythm and then quads out. Look at the gap by the end of that section. If I had to guess, that's probably close to 2 seconds. So we're gonna slow it down here. So far so good, fairly even, but we shouldn't be because I'm entering the outside, so I should be able to enter faster than him, but he still somehow enters as fast as I do. I'm gonna grab one upshift here, he's grabbing 2. You can see him loft into the whoops with just more commitment than myself. And then look at where he's going on the track, all the way left. So watch the arc of his corner and his corner speed, as opposed to me. I close myself off, I pinch myself off in the corner. I couldn't triple in there if I wanted to, taking that line, because I don't have enough mid-corner speed closing myself off. What I should have done is I should have started moving further left in the whoops and hit them where he did. And you saw in the 450 main, everybody was going down that left side because it just made sense going into the corner. For some reason, I was going all the way right here. I was getting through the whoops pretty good, but by the time I get to the turn, I was creating such a tight angle. It was killing all of my forward drive. Let's see what the time difference is here. Jett 16.75, 18, yeah, almost 2-second difference in just 2 straightaways is not good for your boy, not good. But then again, like, watch Jett, that's a mistake, but it barely looks like it. And then just that commitment coming into the whoops and the mid-corner speed, all of it. I could watch this all day long and it makes me just feel really not good about myself, because it always, and you guys can probably relate to this, it feels like one thing when I'm out there on the track, and then when I watch it back, it's a little discouraging. And then when you put it side by side versus Jett, he's almost able to double in. Look at how early he gets on the throttle. You can tell by that roost being thrown. And what that does is it helps him steer the bike. In the sand, you're steering the motorcycle with lean angle and with throttle. You're not steering it with the rear brake. And a lot of people make that mistake. He's on the throttle by the beginning of that big tough block, where I'm not on the throttle until 60 to 70% of the way through the turn. That makes it so he can triple in second gear, he shifts up to third, and then quads out. Not to mention the way that I'm doing it, tripling onto that table and bouncing off of that table is a lot more energy, because slamming on top of that tabletop doesn't feel very good. Jett and I, similar line choice in this turn. You see my upper body stability lacking a little bit. What that is, when I say upper body stability, it's tightening your core. You should be tightening your abs through a corner as if somebody's gonna punch you in the stomach. That's what I always say. That, combined with having both elbows up, keeps your head centered. There's a time and place where you can let the bike lean underneath you, sure, but your head should never end up inside of the motorcycle in a turn. So if you ever see that happening to a rider, that's a mistake. And Jett is the best, Jett and Hunter both, are the best in the world at not letting their heads fall inside of the bike. Watch him loft up on top. He hits the first one, but barely nicks him. Or watch me, I hit the first one. Oh, I didn't do too bad there, but then I end up uncommitting. I'm also 1 gear lower, so by the time you see me halfway through the whoops compared to Jett, not only am I dipping into them more, but it kicks my bike side to side more too. So it just ends up being more dangerous in the long run. And there you have it, guys. Well, not quite as close as I was last weekend, was I? And that's why Jett just continues to prove why he's so darn good. He's not only fast, he's willing to hang it out for short periods of time when he needs to, like when he was coming through the pack, when he crashed in the first turn, but he's so technically sound. Cameraman Cam sent me a video of him circulating laps in 120 frames per second in super slow-mo, and I watched like 15 minutes of slow-mo footage, and I couldn't really even pick out anything that was wrong. Makes me feel bad about myself, but what's cool is for you guys watching, you can replicate that. Now maybe you can't replicate his speed, but you can replicate that technique because it's just very fundamental. Where I always say, you watch a Justin Barcia, and Justin Barcia is 1 in a million. Jett Lawrence, Ken Roxon, Chase Sexton, although their speed is 1 in a million, the fundamentals of their technique you can replicate, which is cool. As a teacher and an instructor, I think that's awesome, and why I use guys like this as examples. So, all right, so hopefully you guys learned a thing or two. Check out themotoacademy.com to train with myself. Let me know what you guys think of the new studio as well. Just set this up in my garage. Not too shabby, looks a little more professional, I suppose. All right, I'll stop yapping. See you guys next weekend and next video. Toodaloo.